And we'll just throw it right away. As he comes in for an Uchimata, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step to the side as he tries to attack this leg. I'm actually picking this leg up and I'm moving it off to my right. And as I move my leg, the center of his attack is gone, and then I rotate him in midair and slam him down on his back. Now, the best way to practice Uchimata Tsukashi, to get the timing and to get the feel for what the technique is all about, I always have my students move in 3 steps. I'll have him come in to get the momentum and the motion going. He'll come in 1, then he'll come in 2, and then on 3, I go ahead and fire him. That's the best way to practice Uchimata Tsukashi, is on a count of 3. And 1, and 2, and on 3, you step to the side and start the rotation in midair. So it looks like this on a count of 3. Okay? And we'll take it from a different angle. Take it from this angle. And now I'll throw it right away. We'll try that on a count of 3 again. And what I like to do is your normal traditional grip at the elbow. I like to reverse that grip and try to get as much cloth as I can. And I like to start rotating the rotation of the elbow as he comes in. So on 3 again for practice. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So the knife comes, boom, I bring it up, I step. I can control the knife that way by bringing him to the ground. The knife comes, boom, I step to the side, I can bring the knife up. I can take a lower grip, come higher, and take more of a larger circle, if you will. Instead of a small circle, the knife comes, I step in, I can grip this way, I can bring the knife around this way, and I can get him spinning in that direction. I'll show you how that works. Okay, I'm standing here, and the knife is coming, boom. I step to this circle, I can get it up. I can bring him down in that fashion. Maybe the knife is coming at you, you step, boom, you block. You could also go in this direction. As you have control of the knife, you step in, the knife could come up and around, and you could bring him down this way. Again, we'll do that from here. I step to the side, boom. I step around this way. Once I have the knife here, I can then bring it up. I could even choose to take it out of his hand in this fashion. Get him to drop it, bring him to the mat if I wanted to. Another technique. As the knife comes at me, we'll go from this diagonal. As the knife comes at me, boom. I choose to grab it this time with my right hand. Now I've got control. His motion and his strength is already coming in this direction. I step in, I make a fist, I strike to the mouth or the nose. I strike hard, and I strike fast. Now his mind and focus of attention is on the pain that I'm inflicting by striking him into the mouth. I pop in for an arm bar. Right on the elbow, where I am able to break his elbow if I want to. So I snap him at the elbow and get him to drop the knife. From here I go into a finger lock. I just slide my hand down. I've already broke his elbow. Now I've got him at the fingers, and I come into a reverse guillotine. As I get him into a reverse guillotine, I apply pressure to the finger lock. If I choose to, with the guillotine, I raise up, and I lean back, and I snap his neck, and drop him to the ground. That's another option, with that knife coming at you from the side. So as he comes, I step and avoid. I grab the knife here, I step back and smack the face. I step in for an armbar here, take the armbar at the elbow, break it, Slide down the fingers. Now I have them in a finger lock. You can see how painful it is the more pressure I apply. This arm now comes up off the elbow, gets them into a reverse guillotine. I snap the neck, I break the fingers, and let them drop to the mat. Or lift them to the mat and drop them. That's another technique that we could use with this knife. We'll go to this diagonal now. Let's say he's coming with the knife from a stabbing motion from up above. He comes, I block, thumb down. Once I block, I still apply the kotegaeshi, take it down to the mat, and control the knife. Show that one again. He comes up, I block, thumb down, kotegaeshi, boom. Take him down to the mat. Knife comes down, boom, block, kotegaeshi. And all of these techniques, even these techniques that we were working on from this side, as I step here, I'm coming in for a modified kotegaeshi. As I bring the weapon and the knife up, I step to this direction, I bring him to the mat. It's all in the wrist. It's all in the jiu-jitsu technique. The knife comes in, boom, snap up, spin around. Same thing here, only this time the knife is coming from above. Comes down, thumbs down, block, step in for the kotegaeshi, and bring him to the mat. Now, you'll notice I'm staying on my feet. When the knife comes down and I block it, boom, I could choose to go to a knee. As I go to my knee, I bring his hand into my hip in that direction and take him to the mat with force. I want to get him in that position, and then I'm going to push towards his shoulder, and I'm going to start turning the wrist. As I turn the wrist, I rotate my hips, and I bring him down to the mat like this. And I still have the wrist. If I want to put him in a position, I could use the ground as a base, and I can continue putting pressure on that wrist and submitting him in this fashion. I could even lift him up, keeping the pressure on the wrist, and I can put him in a gooseneck. You can do a number of different things from a basic wrist lock. But as I get a hold of this wrist for some reason, I've gotten a hold of it, I'm able to put the pressure on that I need, I twist, I step back, and I take him to the mat with a simple wrist lock. Now, he could grab me by the wrist. One of the easiest ways to do a wrist lock when someone grabs you at the wrist, I always tell my students, palm to the face. Look at your palm and get him in a situation where you can get at the wrist. Break the grip, maintaining control of the wrist, and then take him to the ground with that wrist lock from that position. So he grabs me by the wrist for some reason, palm to the face, I get a hold of the wrist, put pressure on the back of the hand, put pressure at the base of the wrist, and twist, and take him down with a simple wrist lock. Really a nice right arm. And as I drive the right arm down, and I drive it back, I'm taking his kazushi to the back diagonal. And I want to drive that wrist and that elbow down, and as I do that, I am going to sneak down, and I'm going to pick his ankle. And as I drive him to that back diagonal, with the proper kazushi, I off-balance him, and it makes it really easy for me to pick his ankle because he doesn't have any weight on it as a result of me taking this arm and driving it down and back to the diagonal, and then I simply reach down and pick the ankle. Or, in wrestling, it's called an ankle.
legs. Good. Go Q.